Welcome to the VC3 News Update. I am Shanette Hackshaw with the local news stories for today. Vincentians are being told that an investment in the National Insurance Services is the best investment they can make. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, in addressing the hot topic of the NIS reform at his press conference on Tuesday morning, said that working Vincentians, even with the reforms that will be instituted, the NIS remains and will be the best investment they can make with their money.
The money which you put in now for your lives, for the time when you work, and you, on an average, you live some 15 or so years after you reach your retirement. All what you put in, at the lower level of the income scale, you get back between 18 months and 2 years all the money that you put in. And at the higher level, between 3 to 4 years, all the money that you put in. And then what you get after, more than all the money that you put in, sorry. And then when you get in after that, is brata and brata and brata. From what? From employers' contribution and from investment monies.
Dr. Gonsalves, in seeking to clarify some doubts many are having, explained that the current structure of the NIS will put it in difficulties in future years. And because of his responsibilities as a leader, he has to look ahead of the situation so that the reforms that would be needed then would not be reforms which will hurt its contributors.
Another truth is that the NIS, under this leadership and under the leadership of Stuart Haynes, this political leadership, and under the leadership of Stuart Haynes, and also before that, Reggie Thomas, the NIS has been a well-run organization. You're not going to have any perfect organization, but a well-run organization.
The Prime Minister said some of the challenges of the NIS that prompted the reforms includes the way it is designed, which he terms as a generous design in terms of low contributions and huge benefits.
St. Lucia kept theirs at 10%. 1987 to now is 36 years. We're still at 10%. And we only recently went up to 10%. Just a couple of years ago, we went up to 10%. Half and half. Employer and employee. But what was the benefit? In respect of your insurable income, up to 60% of your insurable income you will get as your pension.
Dr. Gonsalves stated that another issue with the NIS is that now, as it is maturing, you have more retirees per contributor. He also cited the demographics or compositions of the population as another matter arising out of the maturity of the system.
People are living longer. And the growth of the population is slowed so that over a time you will have the growth of fewer younger people coming onto the system as contributors than those retiring. Between the 2001 and the 2012 censuses, the over 60 population increased by over 30%, the highest movement, the highest increase in any sector of the population. It is true that still the largest cohort of people are under 30, but the growth of that is far less than the growth of the older population.
Dr. Gonsalves said this situation has resulted in the contribution income not being able to pay all the benefits because of the generous design of the system, causing a shift from contribution income to investment income. As the Ministry of Education begins to put its final preparations in place for the start of the 2023-24 academic school year, Prime Minister Gonsalves has indicated that the Cabinet will be engaging with the individuals who are responsible for the $3 million school repair program, after which he will engage with individuals about the staffing of schools and the furniture for schools as well.
Schools are opening. For the institutions which we have, well, first of all, let me say that this morning at Cabinet, I'm going to have people appearing before the Cabinet who have been doing repairs. The head of the BRAGSA, doing the $3 million school repair. Yes. I have to have come there those persons from the Ministry of Economic Planning who dealing with the CDB School Rehabilitation Program, Johnny P. Then the Ministry of Education has to come with their relevant people to tell me about how the staffing arrangements are being addressed or have been addressed. And then I have to get the report from the official in the Ministry of Education who deals with school furniture. So you notice, I have to deal with buildings, the surroundings. I have to, whether it's a school repair program with the $3 million or the larger rehabilitation program with the 9 schools. Some have been done, some in the process of being done. What are the hiccups? What are the challenges? How are they being dealt with? The staffing and the furniture.
According to Prime Minister Gonsalves, he puts finance in the budget. There is policy and legal framework. On all other aspects are put in place.
You elect me. We put the money in the budget. We have the policy organized, the legal framework. Resources are released. Various entities have to do with implementation. The permanent secretary and the chief education officer have to deal with certain matters. The minister has to answer certain questions of me also as chairman of cabinet in relation to certain matters. That's how it's done, you know.
Gonsalves said one of the issues he has been advised was affecting primary and most secondary schools is the issues of principals and deputy principal, but that has been settled. He said there are some appointments which have to be made.
We have been monitoring all the time. For instance, I know that I was advised that in the primary schools and the secondary schools, except perhaps for one maybe, that the issues of principals and deputy principals have been settled. Okay. If there are more, I'll find out. Because as far as I know, these have been settled. And then They have some appointments which have to be made. Johnny P., there have been some relief teachers who are on contract. Some are kept on. Some may not be kept on for different reasons. Some may not have performed very well. I don't make that assessment. But you're having a lot more teachers available because as of yesterday, close to 40, 37 or 38, it might be more, because I spoke to the ministry yesterday morning, of those who did not meet the requirement in respect of the vaccine and had chosen to abandon their jobs. That is from the government perspectives. We know that there's a court judgment which doesn't agree with the government analysis on that.
Gonsalves said that some teachers have requested to be placed outside the classroom and others have moved on to different careers. Still in our local news stories, as families around the nation struggle to pay for their children's school supply for the new school year, the New Democratic Party is urging the ULP administration to move swiftly to address the cost of living problem. The September 4, 2023 will mark the start of the new school year for students all around the nation. However, the majority of families are currently struggling to pay for new textbooks and equipment in the midst of a cost of living crisis that is plaguing our nation. The New Democratic Party said it is demanding that the government impose a tax holiday on school supplies as soon as possible before the start of the new academic year, put in place a comprehensive transit plan to lessen the cost for parents to bring their children to school, and give enough financing for the school feeding program. There is a need for the Commissioner of Police to stay, resign, or seek early employment. This was Prime Minister Gonsalves' response to a question that was posed to him by the media during a press briefing yesterday. Dr. Gonsalves, who is also the Minister of National Security, indicated to the media during the question and answer portion of his press briefing that he had no knowledge of Commissioner of Police Colin John retiring or intending to resign.
I don't know of anything concerning the resignation of Colin John as Commissioner of Police. And I could say emphatically, Colin John has not resigned because it would be not within his interests. I mean, you just got to know the rules.
There have been rampant rumors that Commissioner John intends to resign in the upcoming weeks. However, the Minister of National Security said that John is at the age where his options are open in regards to early retirement. He said he would not comment on if John has indicated that he wished to retire early.
Secondly, he's at an age where it is open to him to ask for early retirement. I'm not going to comment as to whether the Commissioner of Police has or has not asked for early retirement. But bear this in mind. If you ask for early retirement, any official, any public official, the Public Service Commission, and in this case, the Police Service Commission, will have to concur. Will have to say yes. I'm not aware of any such matter.
He said that according to Section 85 of the Constitution, which states that in the event that an individual is appointed as acting or Commissioner of Police, the Police Service Commission must consult with the Prime Minister.
I am very familiar with Section 85 of the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Constitution states, you can look it up, that if an occasion arises for someone to be a commissioner of police, to be appointed commissioner of police, or to act as commissioner of police by the Governor General, the Governor General does the actual appointment upon the advice of the Police Service Commission. But before tendering advice to the Governor General, the Police Service Commission must consult the Prime Minister. If the Prime Minister, as a result of that consultation, the Prime Minister objects to the name which is the Public Service Commission, the Police Service Commission is intended to advise the Governor General on, the Police Service Commission cannot advise the Governor General of that name.
The Prime Minister is currently the only living person that has been involved with the appointment of a Commissioner of Police. According to Gonsalves, he has been involved in the exercise of appointing several past heads of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Royal Police Force, including Commissioner Harry, Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Charles, Acting Commissioner Hathaway, Commissioner Pompey, and the current Commissioner of Police, Colin John. And finally, in our local news stories, assistance will be provided in a range of areas to stakeholders in the agricultural sector under the SVG Food Insecurity Project, which is being implemented here with funding from the World Bank. The project is being implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, and the Economic Planning Division in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, with assistance from the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture. Deputy Chief Agricultural Officer Colville King, who is the focal point for the project, said production support will be provided to the farmers. Mr. King said the project is also targeting young persons who are just starting out in the field of agriculture. Persons who wish to benefit from this assistance under the project must submit applications by this Thursday, August 31. Fisheries Officer Lorenzo George outlined the level of support available for the fishers. He said that the assistance also includes retrofitting of vessels and training for local fishers. That is our local news story. Continue watching on Channel 114 for regional and international news. And Shalisa Nanton with the VC3 Sports Update.